I cannot prepare you two for what you're about to experience. Are you ready?
Yes, Giver.
Are you ready?
Yes, Giver.
Begin.
Swear it.
Hey, Ethan.
Yeah?
Do you want to start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, Jonathan. Sounds fun. Why not?
Okay. I'm gonna go get some chips.
Alright. That was awful.
Terrible.
Hey, where's Alex?
Alex?
Hey everybody, I'm Ethan.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Jonathan, and today we are going to give you a review of the new 2014 science fiction movie, The Giver. So, guys, what were your expectations for this movie?
Going into this movie, I expected it to really kind of portray the book pretty well. Alex?
I think it did portray the book pretty well, but I mean, expectation-wise,
Yeah.
I was thinking it was going to be more of a Hunger Games ripoff.
Right. The generic teen dystopian future kind
A
of
little
feel.
shoehorned romance in there.
Yeah, that doesn't really have a place.
Shoehorn.
Yeah, shoehorn, like...
That's when you force something into there that doesn't need to be.
Never use a shoehorn?
That's a weird metaphor.
No, you shoehorn, you put it in.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
But, I mean, yeah, I was thinking it was going to be the normal, like, when you watch teen movies, it's always overly acted.
Yeah.
It's
There's too much performance going on.
it's you can see it on screen time. It doesn't feel real.
Right, but I thought it was, I expected all those things, yeah.
Well, the one thing that caught me off guard from the trailer was the book seemed timeless, and this was going for a futuristic feel. It's just the technology and everything that wasn't really there in the original book.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure how I felt about that. Not to mention agreeing with Alex that it did feel like a Hunger Games ripoff, especially some of the attire that people wear.
Right. The sort of
the technology in general.
Right.
Well, I was kind of thinking like, okay, if it's gonna be a timeless thing, they're trying to go for a timeless story. It makes sense that they would have a whole bunch of things that we don't have nowadays, because in 20 years, those things will still not be around just because it's particular to this universe. Therefore, it will always be timeless, because no matter when it was, we don't have that technology now. We don't plan to have any of that technology. It's just a kind of a sidestep from our reality, which makes it more of that.
Right.
There's no set time for that.
And I think it is timeless because it is so futuristic that you can't say, oh, I can tell that's going to happen in 20 blank blank or whatever like that.
So as an overall consensus, what did you guys think of the movie?
I thought the movie was a great adaptation of the book, and I thought that it followed it really well. Alex?
Yeah, adaptation-wise, it was very accurate to the book, and it kind of captured the emotion and all of that from the book. That was very important.
Yeah.
But as an overall film, I thought that it was lacking in certain areas in terms of pacing.
Sure, yeah, as a film standalone.
As a film,
but
yeah,
I kind of feel like, I mean, none of us particularly loved the book, The Giver.
Nah,
I
so
thought it was pretty good.
keeping that, Ethan,
That was pretty good.
It was good, but it's not like you were going head over heels.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the book. Jonathan.
I mean, it was solid, but it wasn't anything life-changing.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this movie was very, very close to what the book was. So if you didn't like the story of The Giver, you're not going to go into this movie and absolutely love the pacing and the story and all that. And I think it did what it could with the pacing, but since it was going off a story that was kind of dry in my opinion, I feel like it could not have worked miracles and become this whole new thing without pissing off a lot of the diehard fans.
Of the book, right?
Yeah.
And the pacing, there was the one problem with... The beginning was fine, it moved a little slow in the beginning. In the middle is when it really slowed down for me, and then it just ended quickly at the end. I don't know if you felt.
Yeah,
Like that.
I can't. I felt like that at the end of the book, though.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just me. I
Well,
kind of
then-
felt like the end of the book was, for this is a little bit of a spoiler alert for those of you who haven't read the book.
Right
but-
here, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But you, when he goes into the house, I mean, right at the entrance of the house, the book could have ended, and that would have been a great ending. But he goes inside the house, and he starts looking around, and he starts finding these new things, and then you're like, well, okay, what is he going to do with all
Yeah.
this? End.
Yeah.
Boom. That was like just the worst.
But
abrupt-
Some people are satisfied. Some people wanted more. I guess you were one of the people who wanted more.
Yeah.
So then, but I mean, since the movie kind of did end a little abruptly, you could say that it did justice to the book.
That's true.
Since
Yeah.
it did do the same thing.
But since the fact that it's a movie, they should have known better to fix that.
Right.
But I mean, if you're gonna,
But that would piss off the
book goers.
The book.
But I mean, wasn't the same thing happening in The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, where it ended right where it should have, like in the book?
That's true.
But then you also have the continuation of the next novel, and here
There
you don't
is
have
none.
anything.
Okay.
All right, so let's go on to performances.
Right.
I thought that overall the performances were good, but the most two notable actors, obviously Jeff Bridges and Meryl Streep, and I
Right.
thought they were great,
Yeah.
Yes.
especially Jeff Bridges.
Especially Jeff Bridges. He played the giver, of course, and he was, of course, a very emotional person who had to give all the memories
Yep.
to our protagonist. And I thought he was a
Jeff Bridges is always, in my opinion, he's always just been great in
He fit the
movies.
role too, with the
Yeah.
majestic beard.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
He was pretty good. And then Meryl Streep was the president of our dystopian future, and she did a good job as doing that as well.
Right.
She was an excellent kind of.
Ballbuster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's all over everyone. Jeff Bridges and just totally
anything
on their case.
Right.
Any suggestion just shot down immediately. It's like,
Right.
Speaking of well acted, I need to definitely give kudos to the two main
Teen
main
actors.
teen actors,
Yeah.
actor and actress, because although this is their
Would you
I
say
haven't
debut role, or did they do
Yeah.
working on the side?
this is the first big movie. I would say.
their first big movie. Although this is their first big movie, they definitely pulled it off.
Right.
I feel like I was into their role, and they definitely did what some other widely known actors and actresses can do in the fact that they fit their role and they made everything feel like it was more real.
Right.
Mhm.
And although they did do a great job, I do have to say that for some reason, the male protagonist did a better job in the emotional scenes than the regular "I'm gonna talk to you now" scenes, and I thought that was a little weird. But it's still nice to see. Oh, he's doing a great emotional scene.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little weird.
Well, okay. Another thing about that, though, you were saying earlier that in the movie you didn't like that people didn't show emotion most of the time.
Right. This is a dystopian future where people don't have the memory of certain emotions. And while I understand that they're not supposed to portray emotions, a character should have an emotion so you can get invested in them.
Doesn't require a lot of acting skill, not show any emotion.
Right. So I just didn't like that part. I didn't like it.
Yeah, although it was part of the book, it was something that I think the film could have taken liberties in changing a little bit.
Right.
But then again, the author was a big part in the making of this movie, and they really wanted to make it accurate to that. So,
Right.
that's kind of one of those unchangeable things that I don't think should take away from
Right.
the experience of the movie.
Right.
But speaking of emotion, I thought this movie had a very strong emotional impact.
Extremely,
Right.
yes.
It was chock full of emotions, and I gotta
Yeah,
get that. It was great.
Ethan here was tearing up.
There's a lot of
I was
beautiful,
tearing up too.
a lot of beautiful imagery showing of how life used to be.
Right.
And
Of human life and the wide variety of emotions that a human can encompass, whether it's joy, it's fear,
Very
it's,
strong emotions.
it's loss, it's sadness, it's
Love.
Right, love. Love is actually a big part in the movie.
Yeah.
But I love the movie for just making me feel all those
Speaking of
things.
love.
Speaking of love, for making me feel all those things, and it really encompassed me. I love
that. There were little clips of memories that it showed, and I feel like that was just extremely well directed.
Especially that break.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But there were a few things that we did not love about the movie.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And that was the inconsistency in the CG when it was there.
Yeah. Although it was only 2 points where the CG faltered, it really did a number on us, and it just looked pretty bad.
It was just kind of generic for the most part. I mean, it
didn't-
wasn't too special, but
I
yeah.
didn't really notice it. There was only one part in particular that.
Well, in that one part, there were 2 points where the CG did not look good.
Yeah, there were.
Right.
It was kind of.
To me, it reminded me of the Sci-Fi Channel original movie.
Oh man.
Like that level.
Right.
I mean, the whole movie looked pretty good, except those 2 points. So
Yeah.
that's not good.
I didn't like. There's a scene where the characters are sliding and CG people are going by, and you can see the backgrounds. It looks so bad.
Yeah.
Well,
That's true.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, another thing was they had this blur effect in intense.
In intense scenes of emotions of either, I think it was joy and loss and
Right.
fear, there was a certain what did you say, shooting style?
It was a shooting style. It's not shaky cam, but it blurs the image on the screen to
It's
where
kind of slow motion.
It's
too.
slow
Right.
motion,
at a really low frame
it's
rate.
slow motion, blurred, and it's choppy. So it really takes you out of the scene where there is so much emotion in it.
It worked for one scene that we can't spoil. That the purpose was to show the intensity and
Yeah.
craziness of the
I mean,
situation.
I kind of, to me, just to play devil's advocate, I think that they were trying to go for a more artsy, like, portrayal of emotion.
Right.
Emotion is not really when you're in a moment in your life where you're feeling very heavy emotions. You're not thinking clearly. You're not seeing completely clearly. And I
Right.
feel like just the memory of that very intensely emotional moment, it kind of, that effect gave it a little more of an artsy feeling.
Right.
Instead of just showing a clear shot. If they showed a clear shot,
If it showed a clear shot, it might have actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might have actually confused me and made me think, "Oh, wait, is this a memory?"
Yeah. It would have made it seem like not as impactful.
Right.
So, as an overall consensus of the movie, what is your rating?
Alex,
I give it a 3.8.
3.8.
Solid.
Alright. You know what, Alex? I'm gonna agree with you there and give this a 3.8 rating. Jonathan.
I'm going to give The Giver a 3.75 out of 5 stars. Just because the CG bothered me, the choppy editing in a few areas.
Right.
But overall, it was an enjoyable time at the movies and definitely worth your money.
I really like this movie, but except for those few things, it was great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, and a friend of ours couldn't make it. Also saw the movie.
John couldn't make it, unfortunately.
John. Yep. But he gave it. Right, that guy.
Yeah.
He gave it a 4.
He gave it a 4. I'm guessing he liked it the most out of all of us.
I yes, apparently.
Yeah.
Right. So, how'd you like our review? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Make sure to follow our Twitter link in the descriptions below. Also, make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Have an excellent day.